Actually, last week, recap nung last week. Diba? Correction, continuation, or consolidation. So, alam naman natin yung nangyari na nag-rally no 2 weeks ago. And then sabi natin waiting tayo ng this week dun sa mga mangyayari, di ba? So ngayon, nung Friday, di ba? Nung daily chart ending Friday, ayan. So nag near 6.5 daw and then nag-correct. Pero ang overall outlook is still upwards. Pero ayun, yung mga indicators pa rin, no, hindi pa natin na di-discuss. Pero yun nga, moving averages and yung MACD, MACD. Ganda yung itsura niya mag-plot. Ayan. So, above moving averages niya na 50 and 20. Simple moving average, 20-50. And, ang sabi niya sa MACD. Ayan. So, above the center line daw si MACD. So, positive ang reading dyan. Sa daily, so tingnan natin yung weekly. Expected daw yung correction nung nag-resist sa malapit sa 6.5. Itong week daw na to will be a battle between buyers and sellers. So, tingnan natin kung ano mangyayari. Moving averages need to be prevailed as it remains neutral, favoring sideways action. So, tingnan natin yung itsura ng weekly chart na ginawa niya. Ayan. So, kanina, yung price ng daily or yung candle ng daily is above both moving averages, no? Yung 20 and 50 na pinlot ni Ikiso. So, nag-resist siya dun sa red moving averages or moving average na 50 days or 50 candles in this context kasi weekly nga pala yan. So, sa MACD naman, hinihintay niyang maging positive territory kasi nasa negative siya ngayon. Below the zero line. We will see in next few weeks ang magdidictate kung ano magiging sentiment or ng direction ng ating market. So, ang kanyang temperameter ay nasa low end ng buy. Tumoid lang ng konti sa cautious buy, pero nasa buy. So, dahil nakita niya yung momentum, sabi niya is on the upward bias. Pero yung mga indicators niya nga, hindi pa ganun aligned. Wala pang conviction, kumbaga. So again, ang strategy yung sinasabi niya is buy on dips. Or sell kapag happy. Kapag meron ka ng happy profit, pwede kang mag-trim or mag-bawas-bawas. Okay. Kanyang mailbag article is about yung move ng Bitcoin, mga crypto in general. So, hindi nagpapapigil ang movement ng Bitcoin if I'm not mistaken. So, earlier, parang siguro mga 2-3 months ago, July siguro yon or June. Parang nasa 10K, 11K. Tapos parang ngayon, hindi ko lang na-check earlier, pero parang mag-14K na yata if I'm not mistaken. $14,000 in one Bitcoin. So bakit daw? Kasi, yan, sabi ni Ricky So, yun na, nag-gain na ng traction or ng popularity as an alternative si crypto. Siguro nandyan tumatambay yung iba habang US elections. And ayan, as the society and financial markets get disrupted by chaos, nagkakaroon na ng much needed attention daw si crypto. So, ang challenge for many is how to get into this. And sabay promote niya ng kanyang eToro community. So, yun yung sinasabi niya ditong click here to register more about the global market and sama doon yung cryptos. So, if you want to check it out, pwede naman tayo mag-register dyan. Alam ko, grupo ni Ricky so din ba yung group nila Horeb? No, yung mga COW, Creators of Wealth. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Yan. Again, if you want to send in your questions kay Ricky so and baka naman ma-feature tayo at mapag-usapan sa next investment club, just email this address, wikiso@thefastexchange.com. Okay. So let's go right into the national news. Any questions so far before we move on? Meron ba? Clear naman ba? Any pahabol info or insights? Okay, wala naman daw. Great. Muna tayo sa national news. Tumaas daw to 180% ang government borrowings. So last September, nag-90 billion. Grabe, no? 1 billion on the same period. So 2019 September, 1 billion lang. Ngayon, 9 times 9 times 90. 90 billion. Tapos, according to Treasury data, 2 trillion of the total borrowings sa first 9 months came from domestic lenders. Oh, okay. Malaki-laki pala yung mga nagpahiram from inside the country. 221% higher than the last period ng 2019. Tapos, from the same 9 months naman, external borrowings naging 550 billion, up 89%. So, ganun siya nagpa-pile up na yung mga utang. So, again, di porket malaki naman yung utang, ay we are in danger kasi merong such thing called the debt to GDP ratio. I'm not sure kung ano na yung sitwasyon ng debt to GDP ratio ngayon, pero nung huling kita ko dun sa article or na-share ko siya sa investment club before, healthy pa naman, no? Hindi ko lang sure yung updated numbers. Pero we will see. Tingnan natin kung sinong kakuha ng data na yun. Okay. National government's budget gap, 22%. So, nag-narrow. September, amid the slowdown, both state collections and spending, government spending dropped by 15%. Medyo expected naman. So, ibig sabihin high base daw kasi. Okay. So, the lower spending was attributed to base effects given larger infrastructure spending last year. So, mataas yung spending last year, kaya nag-contract ngayon compared to that data last year. Collections, ayan. So, kaya naghahabol ang BIR. Bumaba ng 10% ang government collections. Note that the first 9 months of 2020, the fiscal deficit reached 79 billion. So, ayan. So, yan na yung reason bakit yung BIR ay naghahabol ng collection. Huwag na tayo magtaka kasi kulang, no? Kulang and nag-drop pa yung collection rate. Pero I'm sure yung mga susunod na packages, parang packages ng train, parang magra-ramp up din yata yung collection, if I'm not mistaken. Parang i-restructure nila yung corporate tax. Anyway, BSP is now looking at a smaller contraction. So, good news ito. Ano bang expectation nila? Note that based on early estimates, supposed 5% decline would slow the GDP by about 0.4%. Okay. So, nung nag-ease na daw yung lockdown, tumaas na ng onte or bumaba yung contraction ng onte ng remittances. Kasi alam naman natin na isa yan sa mga legs ng ating tripod sa GDP. Diba? Parang BPO, OFW remittance, and spending. Ayan ang mga haligi ng ating GDP computation. And then the 61.8% drop in employment from January to July. Okay. Laki, no? More than half percent or more than half ng 100%. 61.8% drop in deployment. So maraming natenga. So type naman kayo dyan kung meron kayong mga clients directly affected by the slowdown in deployment ng mga OFW abroad. Meron ba? Kasi ako meron. Yan. So, puti na lang nagawa ng paraan ng iba kong mga clients ang kanilang payment para sa plans nila. So, iniiba ko na lang yung narrative, no? Parang, buti na lang po, meron kayong ganito kasi makakapag-ipon pa rin kayo. So, meron ko sila. Ayan, business nila, OF manpower ba ito? DIG. Yan. Affected. Deploy. Kasi parang per head ata yung bilangan dyan, di ba? Ang kitaan per head ng nade-deploy. Okay. Balance of payments reached a surplus of $2.1 billion. Higher than 30. Oh, laki ha. Laki naman ng surplus. The surplus reflected mainly the inflows from the BSP's foreign exchange operations and income from its investment abroad. Yan, madami pa pinapauwi na OFW so far. Grabe, 7 months ng tenga yung deployment. Okay, so partly offset by national government's payments of its foreign currency debt obligations. So maganda magbayad kasi ng foreign currency debt ngayon dahil malakas ang peso. Tama? This brought the balance of payments position for the first 9 months of the year to a surplus of $6.88 billion. So good news. This level, ayan, so again, nabalikan na naman natin yung GIR term, di ba? Si Gross International Reserve. So parang yan yung emergency fund. The bigger the GIR, the safer our safety fund, kumbaga. Ayan, so hindi na rin nagre-renew sa SG ng mga working pass. Siyempre, parang love their own muna, di ba? Bigyan ng trabaho yung mga locals. So, alam na natin yung news ng extension ng GCQ, di ba? So, tayo naman ang unang nakakaalam yan. So, next, House of Representatives, final reversion of General Appropriations Bill. So, ang target is to pass the budget before Christmas. So, yan ang babantayan natin. So, mayroon tayong isa pang babantayan, di ba? Yung November 10, GDP for third quarter. Tama ba? So, ayan. Pati yung passing ng budget. Yung babantayan natin. Maging totoo nga before Christmas. So, yung 4.5 trillion worth of spending items. So, marami-raming gagastusin, which is good. To stimulate the economy. Okay. Bureau of Treasury, okay, magbebenta daw sila ng T-bills or Treasury bills this month worth 140 billion pesos on top of the premium bond issuance on November 11. So parang 143 billion. So for the first 9 months, naka 2.56 trillion tayo from domestic and external sources, accounting for 85% of the 3 trillion plan na borrow this year. Ang bonds, di ba, kasama sa debt borrow? Alam ko, yes. Kaya si Premio Bond ay si Treasury Bills ang alam ko mas mabilis ang ikot ng Treasury Bills. Si bonds yung mas longer term. Parang yung Premio Bond, mga 5 years ata. Parang yan yung nilagay nila sa app earlier nung nag-lockdown. Brought to you by Union Bank. Pero baba eh. Kasi nga low interest rate environment kaya mababa talaga yung bonds. Okay. Yeah, ito yung debt to GDP. Based on their forecasts, the Philippines' debt to GDP level is expected to reach 53.9 this year, 58.1 for next year. So, how to interpret that? I will get back to you. Ano yung healthy debt to GDP? Basta I'm sure pag below 1, di ba? Healthy yun. Okay. BSP reported for foreign portfolio investments, net outflows. Yan. So, naglabasan sila. Investments for the month were mostly in PSE listed securities with 92.5% share of the total, while the remaining 6.5% went to investment in peso bonds. So, ito yung mga foreign investors na pumupunta sa atin. Singapore, UK, US, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. So yung mga galing sa atin, naglilipat sa US. The US continued to be the main destination of outflow. Which is kakaiba. Siguro pumuposisyon na sila dahil alam nilang volatile sa US during the election. So the first 9 months of the year to net outflows. Yan. So yan ang net outflow ng foreign portfolio investments. Okay, no? 1.3 lang yung net outflow sa same period last year. Ngayon, 4.4. So, natutuyot na ang ating foreign investments. Okay, so national news is done. Now, let's go to the industry. So, energy news. Nag-declare ng moratorium on new coal power plant. Okay. Ito yung nagpa-spike ng FGen eh. Tama ba? Kaya lumipad yung kalapating yon dahil dito. So yung hindi na daw sila mag-approve ng coal power. So, gusto nila ng cleaner, which is good, di ba? Good move. Pero ang moratorium na yon pertains only to new coal plant applications and will have no impact dun sa mga exist. Okay. For listed power companies that are currently expanding coal power, si meron pala silang expand. And pero is Meralco, AP is Aboitiz Power. Pero may permit na. Okay. Good. For SCC, walang effect yung moratorium, pero this would somewhat diminish the long-term outlook. SCC Semirara. Note that, okay. So, highly. Kailangan mag-adapt. No, ito yung isang indication na kailangan mag-adapt ng mga traditional, yung mga coal-powered na mga plants. Kailangan nila mag-adapt or mag-shift into renewables or yung more clean na mga energy source para mabuhay pa sila. Dahil part of the uncontrollables yung mga ganyang government decisions to shift or to not renew, for example, to not honor new applications ng mga coal projects. Hindi ka na makapag-expand kung yun lang ang ano mo, power portfolio mo. Okay. Yan, ito nakita ko tong news na to recently, no? Highest vacancy rates since AFC, which was 1996, Asian Financial Crisis. So, ayan. So, until 2021, ang effects, na maglilinger yung effect ng mga nangyari sa ating favorite go-to place ng mga Pinoy, ng malls. And yeah, so nag-increase ang vacancy 2-digit, no? 12.5% after almost 50% drop in mall foot traffic. So very understandable. All years expects this hit 14%. So tataas pa towards this end of 2020. Sabi ni Joey Bondoc, Head of Research. Yan. So low ang consumer confidence. Record low in third quarter. So we will see. So yung 2021, ano pa lang talaga, no? Parang yung pinag-usapan ulit natin before na mga laying the groundwork, the runway para lumipad sa 2022. So hindi pa talaga sobrang take off ng 2021, no? May mga ripple effect pa ng mga nangyari this year. 2022. Pero 2021 is the best time to position. Actually, ngayon, best time na. According to a survey conducted by the BSP, the banks remain strict in their loan standards for both businesses and for personal loans or household loans. Okay, so while most respondent banks anticipate keeping credit standards for firms, a large percentage also expects to tighten loan criteria. Tama lang naman, due to a more uncertain economic outlook, along with expected deterioration in borrowers' profiles. Correct. Dahil nawawalan nga ng mga trabaho. Meanwhile, the outlook for next quarter, which is this quarter, showed that banks are expecting strict overall lending standards for households. Tama lang. So, mas favorable pa rin talaga yung mga business loans. No? Not yung mga personal loans for banks. Okay. So, aside from the industry news, meron ding individual company news. Ito parang napag-usapan na natin to, di ba? Si Arit, in-acquire niya si Ayala 30th. So, aside from mall, meron din pala siyang mga office occupants or office portfolio. Okay, first quarter magko-close. So, familiar naman kay Arit lahat, no? Yan yung Ayala Real Estate Investment Trust. In a disclosure to the stock exchange, SEB or Cebu Pacific, issuance of warrants or bonds para mag-raise ng fund. Or bakit sila nagre-raise ng fund? Wala naman sinabi pa. Okay, so wala pang terms and conditions. Anyway. Mary Mart, retail format, offers a large selection of premium. Okay, wow. Nagkaroon na pala ng opening. The first Mary Mart market open last Saturday. Ano ba itong last Saturday na to? Walang reference. Anyway. So sa QC, meron, wow, pag 8 more stores pa sila this year. So total of 25 for the year. Alright. And then ending 2021, 100 branches. So familiar ba kayo dun sa dark grocery store? So, ang ginagawa lang ni dark grocery store, parang warehouse lang ata to. Tapos puro online lang talaga i-serve, walang walk-in. So parang tambakan lang. Okay. So, bad news for Mer, no? Yung heavy kalapati. Mer's third quarter profits declined 15.8%. Bakit kaya? Lahat naman tayo nasa bahay. Kasi yung mga opisina, yung mga nagtitipid na nga pala lahat. Kasi sila yung mga big, mga malls, mga offices, walang nagre-rent, wala. Puro vacant. So talagang walang magkokotso. Agree ba kayo doon? Kaya bumaba yung core profit. Okay. Okay, ahead of COL forecast naman daw yung September, but lags behind consensus forecast. Okay. This was mainly due to an 11% increase in distribution tariff. The sales volume remains skewed toward residential. Ayan. So dahil nga nasa bahay lahat, doon napunta yung volume ng sales nila. It's already made provisions to account for possible downward adjustments in tariff for the future in light of the change in sales mix. Essentially, mas malaki daw yung tariff ng residential versus yung kanilang commercial clients. SMPH net profit decline din. So, alam na yung mga trend ng mga balita talaga yun. No? Ngayon, no? Puro decline. So, very expected naman yan. SMPH is SM Prime Holdings. Okay. Pace of the decline is much slower. Okay, so bumagal naman daw yung decline in lighter news. Pero lahat decline pa rin. Pero gumalaw din tong presyo nito recently. SMPH is on track to meet COL full year forecast with risk on the upside with government relax restriction heading into the holiday season. Mukhang hindi naman ni-relax. Kasi 'di ba usually November yan na yung last hurrah ng mga sale. Sa December hindi na sila nag-sale. Ganun. Kasi November lumalabas yung mga bonus eh. Okay, BDO reported 12.3 billion in earnings. Okay, up 3.2 year on year. Meanwhile, earnings for the first 9 months was down 48.2. Nevertheless, this ended in line with hindi naman mag-forecast ng COL, puro in line. Net interest income expanded by 6%. Okay. Return on equity of 5.8%. UBP is Union Bank. Tumaas naman ang kanilang income by 7% year on year. Okay, non-interest income nag-drop. Meanwhile, the bank booked 464 million provisions during quarter. But earnings for the first 9 months. Alright. Ano ba yung return on equity? Hindi ko alam yung formula na return on equity. 13.4%. PX suspends PADCAL operation. Okay. So, mayroong mga na-infect sa minahan ng PX. Company announced sa several okay, so complete the mass testing of 1,000. Okay. SCC, nag-decline. PSE, meron namang SEB. Cebu Pacific na naman na news. Hindi naka-compile. Meron sa share, sell, and purchase agreement. Okay. Hindi ko kilala si SIA Engineering Company. Pero si APPC daw is a key player in the maintenance, repair, and overhaul in the aviation industry. Okay. Ecor Petron Mag-shutdown na naman ang refinery if they do not act, if the government does not act on leveling the playing field between importers and refiners in terms of taxes. So kasi yung refiners ay nagbabayad ng VAT and excise. And then so parang nado-double tax pala sila. So nag-import ka ng raw materials, tinaksan ka na. Pagka-process mo, tataksan pa ulit. So may hit talaga yan sa either mag mag-hit yung profit nila or syempre ipasa nila sa consumer. Ganun lang naman yun. Pero pag sinut down nila yung refinery na yon, we could experience shortage in oil inventory in certain times. Okay. So, aside from that, syempre, aside from yung shortage in oil inventory, alarming din dyan, syempre, yung mawawala ng work mga nasa refinery. Although meron naman chance na ma-repurpose ng refinery. Tulad nung ginawa ng Shell, tama ba? Shell yun. Parang may trabaho pa rin naman yung mga nagtrabaho. Okay, Pure Gold, nag-decline ng net income. Then, what else? SNR, nag-slow down din ang kanilang sales. Kasi hindi na sila nagpa-sale. Wow, ganun pala yung effect ng member street sale nila, no? Plus, may nag-hoard din pala. Nag-hoard nung pantry nung second quarter. Okay. So, meron palang malaki pala talaga yung effect ng member street sale nila. Kaya nagta-traffic. CHP, Semento ang business niyan. So nagkaroon ng 8-fold higher na earnings. So isa to sa mga lumipad na stock, no, in the recent months. Okay, so nag-outperform sila ng estimates. Lampas-lampas na sila sa forecast for the year. ABS-CBN, Philippine will begin relationship for various passions. Okay. So, magkakaroon sila ng mga ipapalabas sa mga partners nila. Cable companies like Cable and Signal. So, nag-expand sila ng kanilang digital presence, obviously. So, may SCC na naman. Lampasan na natin yan. Robinsons Retail Holdings. Bumaba din naman. Bakit? Discos. Okay. Hindi nila in-expect ang weaker sales nila. O, pati pala yung reimposition of a 2-week MECQ noong August. Also dampened foot traffic and sales inside RRHI's. So malaki pala talaga yung effect ng 2 weeks. Very investigate daw ng tax sa ABS and Zoe deal. Ooh. Ano ba ang deal nila doon? Niki-ride sila sa frequency. EMP, Emperador, third quarter, tumaas. Tingin nyo, bakit? Bakit tumaas ang earnings ng Emperador? Tagay sa bahay. Pag board, tagay, di ba? Pero alam ko na-hinder din yung siguro nakatulong yung pag-impose ng liquor ban, no? Uhaw na yung mga tao. Pagka-lift ng ban, yan, nagbilihan na. Pero kasi international din naman ba si Emperador? China Bank's net income expanded. Okay. Iba-iba yung story ng iba-ibang bank, no? Outperformance can be attributed to stronger than diba? Yung iba kanina, weaker than expected net interest income and non-interest income. Yung ito naman, stronger. Stronger than expected. So, not all banks are the same in terms of mga kitaan. Ganda daw ng China Bank, sabi ni Dennis. Customer focused. Iniwan nila ang BPI. Congratulations. IMI. Ano to? Electronics. I'm not mistaken. Automotive. Industrial operations. Nagmamanufacture sila. Globe announced that it increased investment in fiber to home network by almost 200%. So, magandang competition and magandang nare-realize nila kailangan natin ng more efficient internet services. Okay, Globe expects fiber capacity lines to further rise with 50 billion capital expenditures. Legit daw ba yung news na 1,500 towers ng dito ay tapos na? Oh. We don't know. Okay, so that ends our market update. Any questions so far? Stop share na muna.